Welcome to today's grammar lecture on odd plus infinitive, ve'ata, and the adverbial infinitive form, hetev. Let's begin by talking about odd plus infinitive. For each of the preposition flashcard forms you have memorized, we illustrated the spatial sense of that preposition. And odd means until, so in a spatial sense, it means that something happened up until a certain point in space. So I could say, I walked up to the house. Odd also means until in a temporal sense, so up until a certain point in time. And here, with the construction odd plus infinitive, infinitive after odd marks that point in time. So, here's an example in number 1. Et Haman achlu ad boam el kitzei eretz Canaan. So, the manna they ate until they came to the edge of the land of Canaan. So this form, boam, is the infinitive form of ba yavo, bo, with the attached pronoun am. So until they came. So you have this verbal action, they ate manna up until this point in time, until they came to the edge of the land of Canaan. And so odd is working exactly as you'd expect. Nothing crazy. In fact, this is the same usage in number 2. Ur dafucha ad ovdecha. Once again, a certain action, and they will pursue you until you perish. So, ovdecha, you have avod, the infinitive form of avad yovad, to perish, until you perish. So, their pursuing you will happen up until the point in time in which you perish. And number 3, again the same thing. In fact, this use of odd plus infinitive, it means until probably in every case except for 2 instances. So I'm giving you a big dosage of what the normal case is. Ve'yashav ba'ir hahi ad omdo lifnei ha'edah. And he shall dwell in that city until he stands before the assembly. So omdo here, infinitive form amod of amad ya'amod, the attached pronoun hu. So until he stands means he shall dwell in that city up until that point in time when he stands before the assembly. Now, I said that there's probably only 2 outlier instances where odd doesn't mean until when it occurs before an infinitive, but it means when or while. Here is Judges. This is Ehud after he has killed Eglon. It says, Ve'ehud nimlat ad hit ma meham. And Ehud escaped until they delayed. Doesn't make any sense. Makes far more sense that it's while they delayed, which refers to the guards when Ehud says, hey, I've got a secret for you, Eglon. Eglon sends out his guards. The doors are locked, and the king is in there for so long, the men outside, they delay thinking that he's relieving himself. And so while they delayed, Ehud escaped. I said there are 2 instances. One is Judges 3. The other one you get to find as you search in Jonah 3:10 until 4:5. All right, and here we have the discourse marker ve'ata. You have the flashcard form ata memorized. It means now, usually in a temporal sense, as in This is what I'm doing right now, currently. But ve'ata actually works differently. It never means now in the temporal sense, but in the logical sense, specifically a logical deduction or conclusion. So, in light of what I have said, now or therefore, this flows out of that. And I also here make the case that it is a discourse marker. So it can be the marker of macro syntax or structure of a book, as in Deuteronomy 4, verse 1. So in light of what Moses has said in the first 3 chapters, 4 verse 1 is his conclusion. Ve'ata Yisrael Shma el ha-chukim. Translating, and now, or therefore, Israel, listen to the statutes. Now, here's what Moses is not saying. He's not saying, Israel, God has changed his plan. So before you didn't need to listen to his statutes, but now, in this point in time, you need to listen. No, he's not speaking temporally here, but he's speaking logically. Israel, in light of what I've told you, what I've reminded you of in these first 3 chapters, how God redeemed you, how he saved you from these other kings, and how he's leading you into the promised land. You are God's people, therefore keep the statutes. Now, ve'ata can be the logical conclusion of a much smaller argument. Here is the argument, or the conclusion of the argument, that Jonah makes. Ve'ata Adonai, kachna et nafshi mimeni. All right, he says, and now, or therefore, Yahweh, please take my life from me. And again, this is what Jonah is not saying. He's not saying necessarily, God, right now is the time that I want to die. But he's actually making an argument. He's stating why he wants to die. The why he wants to die is in Jonah 4, verse 2. And so then the question is, wow, Jonah, what is so appalling that makes you conclude that you need your life to be taken from you? You just want out because 4 verse 2 is just too terrible of a reality. What is that? Go ahead and read it yourself. And here is the last point today, the adverbial infinitive form hetev. Remember, hetiv yetiv is a flashcard form you have memorized, meaning to do good. And that is what it means when it occurs as a finite verb, but when it occurs as an adverbial infinitive, it means to do something thoroughly. Remember, an adverbial infinitive describes the main verb, and it can occur after, even though usually it occurs before, but word placement has no meaning there. Now, let's read it and see if it does indeed mean thoroughly as an adverbial infinitive. Vedarshu ha-shoftim hetev. And the judges shall inquire thoroughly. That makes sense. The judges shall make a thorough inquiry of whatever, not necessarily stating that them making an inquiry is doing a good thing. And number 8 is similar, but even more clear. Ve'et tzlamav shibru hetev. And his images, the his referring to Baal, and Baal's images, they shattered thoroughly. Not here making a moral statement about them shattering Baal's images as doing a good thing, but stating that they pulverized the images. They shattered the images thoroughly so that once they're finished, there is just absolutely nothing left. Now, seeing that hetev means thoroughly makes good sense of Jonah 4:4 here in example number 9. God asked Jonah, Ha hetev charalach? Question, is it thoroughly kindled to you? Which is the Hebrew way of just saying, are you really that angry? Now, this is a different sense from some English translations that want to translate hetev as having the same meaning as the finite form hetiv. So they translate, do you do well to be angry? So that sense would be God asking Jonah, do you have moral justification for being angry? And we finally get several verses later, Jonah finally answers the question. He affirms, Hetev charali ad mavet. So let's pretend that it is the sense of I am morally justified in being angry. So, I do well to be angry until death. Wait, what does until death have anything to do with Jonah's moral justification for being angry? That it's a good thing that he's angry? No, this seems to be confirmation that the sense of thoroughly is at stake here again. It is thoroughly kindled to me, so I am really that angry concerning the plant until death, meaning I'm so angry I could die, or I'm so angry and I will be this angry until I die. So hetev as an adverbial infinitive always means thoroughly.